Thanks for joining us. You're watching a mid-morning edition of Arirang News on this Tuesday, March 10th. Live from Seoul, I'm Shin Se-min. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at this hour. Coronavirus fears and the oil price war send global markets into a tailspin. Wall Street posts massive losses, with the Dow suffering its most point drop on record, plunging more than 2,000 points in a single day. Markets in South Korea also opened lower this morning. Outside of China, the worst hit country by COVID-19 is Italy. And the whole of Italy is on lockdown, with the Prime Minister calling on everyone to stay home unless they have to go out. So far, 463 COVID-19 deaths have been reported in Italy alone. Plus, tomorrow marks 9 years since the devastating earthquake and tsunami that triggered the Fukushima nuclear disaster. With the Tokyo Olympics a matter of months away, Greenpeace says the plant is still not decontaminated. Our starting point this morning, South Korea saw 96 additional COVID-19 cases on Monday, raising the total number of confirmed patients nationwide to 7,478 as of 4 p.m. Korea time Monday. Now, the latest numbers are far below the daily increase of 500 or more seen last week, as the nation is begging to see fewer confirmed cases nationwide. But 3 more deaths were reported, raising the total to 54. Currently, over 90% of the confirmed cases are in Daegu and Gyeongsangbuk-do province. Now, the latest tally on the coronavirus outbreak is due to be announced in moments' time, with South Korean health authorities saying they will unveil the daily number of new infections once a day at 10 a.m. Korea time, but we have yet to learn the numbers as of now. In an unprecedented move, Italy's government has extended its coronavirus restriction zone from a handful of provinces to the entire country. Italy's prime minister said Monday that the country, with a population of some 60 million people, should not leave their homes other than for work or emergencies, as confirmed cases and the death toll keeps rising. Over 9,000 COVID-19 infections had been confirmed in all 20 of the country's regions, with the confirmed cases standing at 9,172 as of late Monday. A total of 463 fatalities have been recorded in Italy alone, most of them with elderly people who were suffering from underlying health conditions. Infections have also surged in Spain, with over 1,000 cases as of Monday. Roughly half of Spain's infections are concentrated in central Madrid. And as a result, local authorities have ordered all elderly recreational centers to close temporarily in the Basque region. As the coronavirus spreads across the world, with nearly 110,000 cases reported in more than 100 nations, the World Health Organization says the pandemic threat has become very real. But the head of the organization stressed the outbreak can be controlled through containment and mitigation. Despite all that, CNN said it will begin using the word pandemic during its reports when referring to the outbreak. Our Kim Hyo-sun tells us more.
The WHO is admitting the threat of a coronavirus pandemic is now very real. Speaking at a press conference on Monday, WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus explained that COVID-19 would be the first pandemic in history that could be controlled.
It's certainly troubling that so many people and countries have been affected so quickly. Now that the virus has a foothold in so many countries, the threat of a pandemic has become very real. But it would be the first pandemic in history that could be controlled. The bottom line is, we're not at the mercy of the virus.
He also explained that over 70% of Chinese COVID-19 patients have fully recovered following treatment, saying the outbreak there may be winding down. He pointed out that some countries have been able to slow down, even stop transmission, especially praising the efforts put forth by Singapore. Referring to how countries should respond, Tedros stressed it should not be a question of either containment or mitigation, but both.
It's not about containment or mitigation, which is a false dichotomy. It is about both. both containment and mitigation. All countries must take a comprehensive, blended strategy for controlling their epidemics and pushing this deadly virus back.
While the WHO has so far refrained from describing the outbreak as a pandemic, many experts say the threshold has long been met, with the virus, which first originated in China, spreading to every continent with the exception of Antarctica. Kim Jong-un, Arirang News.
It was historically bloody Monday on global stock and oil markets. The chaos that started in Asia shifted over to Europe and then slammed Wall Street in the U.S. It's a day traders around the world will remember for a long time, and there could be more pain to come this week. Our Hong Yu tells us more.
The first automatic halt in trading in over 2 decades was triggered on Monday, as stocks on Wall Street slumped by historic amounts as traders fretted over the ongoing coronavirus outbreak and plummeting oil prices. Global oil prices nosedived around 30% on Monday after Saudi Arabia started a price war by slashing crude oil prices for April and announcing an increase to its output. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude slumped to just $27.34 a barrel in intraday trading on Monday, its lowest in 4 years. Reacting to the volatility on the oil markets, all 3 major U.S. stocks averages opened sharply lower on Monday. 5 minutes into trading, the S&P 500 sank a staggering 7%, triggering a circuit breaker that suspended trading for a quarter of an hour. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also took a huge hit as investors sold their positions. In response to the turmoil, the White House is inviting Wall Street executives to discuss their response to the market sell-off and the coronavirus outbreak. President Trump will personally attend Wednesday's meeting. The S&P 500 finished the week's first trading session down about 7.6%, its worst day since the 2008 global financial crisis. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slumped 7.78% to 23,851.33. The Nasdaq dropped 7.2% to 7,950.68. Over the Atlantic, European stocks suffered hefty losses as well. The Stoxx Europe 600 closed 7% lower at 340.83, 20% lower than its yearly high of 433.9. Markets in the UK, Germany, France, and Spain, among others, all posted huge losses as well. Hong Yu, Arirang News.
Now, staying with the topic amid the global stock sell-off, here in South Korea, stocks opened lower this Tuesday. The benchmark Kospi opened at 1942.85, or 0.61% lower from the previous close. Foreign investors sold a net of $105 million of Korean stocks, while individual investors offloaded $58 million off their shoulders. The secondary bourse Kosdaq was also down 1.25% at 606.89. The coronavirus outbreak is wreaking havoc on South Korea's job market, which was struggling as it was pre-coronavirus. Employment seekers already facing an uphill battle are finding it even more difficult as many large, sought-after companies put their seasonal recruitment plans on hold due to the outbreak. In some cases, interviews and recruitment exams are being postponed indefinitely. Our Ji-young with this report.
Many South Korean firms have put staff recruitment on hold due to the coronavirus. This job seeker in Seoul was waiting for a scheduled interview and recruitment test next month, but was notified that it was delayed indefinitely.
I was preparing for the recruitment test that was planned to take place within a month or so, but it got postponed indefinitely. I'm a little worried that the recruitment itself might be cancelled.
She added that she understands the measures are inevitable but feels concerned because she has to wait endlessly without knowing when the tests and interviews will resume. Another person who is studying for a recruitment exam to become a government official said her test was postponed as well.
I got notified of the postponement 4 days before the test date, and I felt really depressed because I didn't know what I should do.
Job seekers are also having to find new ways to study so that they can avoid libraries and cafes. Rather than going to cafes or libraries to prepare for tests or job interviews, many people are gathering on online platforms to study together. The online study platform Gurumi Camp Study has seen a surge in users as many people try to avoid studying in public places.
Before the outbreak, around 8,000 people used the platform each day. These days, roughly 15,000 people use the service each day.
He also said 47% of the users he surveyed replied that they are using the service because of fears about the coronavirus. 엄지영, Arirang News.
And South Korea is planning to bring back scores of its nationals from Iran via a chartered flight sometime this week. Seoul's foreign ministry said Monday that some 80 citizens of the 220 South Koreans in Iran have applied to take the flight, as the number of coronavirus cases in that country has reportedly surpassed 7,000, with over 230 deaths. Now, the South Korean government is mulling over using a third country to fly its citizens to a country near Iran, like the United Arab Emirates or Qatar, as Tehran is subject to crushing international sanctions. South Korea also raised its travel advisory for 2 provinces in northern and central Italy on Monday, as the coronavirus outbreak in that country is showing little sign of slowing down. The foreign ministry issued a yellow warning, the third highest on its 4-level scale, calling for travel restraint to Piedmont and Marche. The ministry also urged South Korean nationals residing in those areas to take extra caution. Shifting focus, North Korea says its leader Kim Jong-un has once again supervised one of the regime's long-range artillery strike drill. According to the North's state-run media, Monday's drill was aimed at reviewing North Korea's sudden military counterattack capability. It said Kim praised the troops' military readiness and expressed great satisfaction with the result, adding that artillery training should be intensified in the future. Now, the latest firing came just a week after the North test-fired 2 short-range projectiles, which the regime later claimed to be part of a long-range artillery firing drill overseen by leader Kim Jong-un. Wednesday this week, March 11th, marks exactly 9 years since the 2011 Fukushima nuclear power plant disaster that was caused by an enormous earthquake and tsunami. With the ongoing controversy surrounding radiation in that area, safety concerns still remain ahead of the 2020 Winter Olympics. Our Lee Seung-jae tells us more.
The Japanese government failed to decontaminate Fukushima. That's the damning assessment of radiation experts from Greenpeace after 3 weeks of fieldwork in the area. The team confirmed that a high level of cesium has spread to residential areas near a local forest. It concluded the radioactive material was spread due to the strong winds and heavy rains brought on by Typhoon Hagibis last October. Many Olympic venues are in the so-called hotspots, including the J Village, where the Tokyo Olympic torch is set to begin its nationwide relay. The discovery overshadows the Japanese government's decontamination efforts around the torch relay path near the plant. According to Greenpeace's nuclear expert Sean Burney, the Japanese government is trying to send the message that Fukushima is safe to host Olympic events, but the reality is very different. A total of 45 hotspots have also been detected in downtown Fukushima. All the affected areas exceed the IAEA's safety standards of 0.3 to 0.5 microsieverts an hour. According to Greenpeace, some hotspots show a reading of 71 microsieverts an hour at the surface level. Despite Greenpeace's warning, the Japanese government continues to insist it's safe, stressing that the plant's operator removed the contaminated topsoil after the hotspots were detected. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Good morning. Most regions are having a wet and rainy Tuesday, and most regions will see 5 to 10 millimeters of rainfall, while the eastern parts of Gangwon-do province will see 10 to 40 millimeters, and the rain will let up from the western regions this afternoon. And with the showers, temperatures will not rise that much. There will not be that much of a difference between lows and highs, especially here in the capital. And tomorrow morning, we are going to wake up to a low of -1 degrees Celsius. So this afternoon, highs will range from 8 to 13 degrees Celsius, and the rain will let up from the southern regions later in the day. Meanwhile, bad air quality in western regions will improve thanks to the rainfall. Other than Thursday, we will be having readings similar to slightly lower than seasonal norms, so let's dress accordingly. Meanwhile, we could see a mix of rain and even snow affecting the central region on Friday. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
And that is it for us at this hour on Arirang News. As always, thank you for watching and goodbye.